Hello, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. Marquita here, and as you can see, I am starting here with the Aerogarden. So yes, I have finally cleared out the Aerogarden with the romaine lettuce, and I have started a fresh Aerogarden, which will have more romaine, of course. But I actually have a half and half in here. I have 3 romaine and I have 3 spinach. Now, again, this particular Aerogarden, which is the Aerogarden Bounty Basic, does hold it does hold 9 pods or up to 9 pods, but because these are all kind of tall growing and pretty full plants, I decided to separate it and give it a little space to grow when it gets bigger. So as you can see, I did 3 on each side and I separated them so that they wouldn't, um, I'm not sure, I doubt that they would cross pollinate or anything, but just so it'd be easier in case they grow a little quicker. Romaine is usually pretty quick to sprout. I'm not quite sure about spinach just because I've only tried it once in the Aerogarden and it wasn't successful. So I'm not sure how it will go in terms of the rate of speed at which it grows. And I know once romaine gets going, it goes. And so I didn't want to have it mixed in. But either way, here we are. We can check in, and I'm happy to report that as I can peek, I probably won't be able to get that angle to show you guys, but right now the seeds have been in there. I think I did this on like Wednesday. Let's wake it up a little bit here, because the display screen will go to sleep after so long for no particular reason, but you can always just wake it up. You can see the stats here. So it will need food in 9 days is what it's telling me over there. But it's been going for 5 days so far. So that is that's how long it's been going. And all of the romaine, or at least 2 of the romaines, the 2 here closest to the front, have already started to sprout. I can see a little green down in there. And like I said, it's still far down in, so I don't think I can show you guys. You might be able to see a little tip in this one. I can kind of see it if it focuses. That little speck there, that is part of the seedling coming up. And it's a similar state in the other pod here too, because I was able to peek over and see, and I was able to see same thing is happening with the spinach. They have just started breaking through the seed, so maybe by next week there will actually be something high enough for you guys to see. I just don't think now, like, I have to stand on my tiptoes and kind of hit an angle because of the low level of the light for me to be able to really see down in there. So they are starting to sprout, so it looks like, fingers crossed, I will actually be successful with my spinach this time. Last time, I'm not sure if it was, I did use it in my other Aerogarden. And to be honest, I'm not sure if it was more of a seed issue because the spinach seeds that I used the last time were older. So maybe they were just too old, or maybe it was just a bad batch because I only did, I think maybe 3 or 4 of those, and none of them ended up sprouting. So now we see this is a different batch of spinach seeds. This is actually the Back to the Roots spinach that I purchased. The other ones were a different brand. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they will come out and we'll have some delicious spinach. But so far, so good. As you can see, the new plant that I introduced to you guys last week is still sitting there. That's not going to be its permanent home. I just got to figure out where I'm going to put it. So I am kind of figuring out rearrangements and all of that. The weather is starting to get better, so by the window might be nice. In case you did miss my last video, this is a Diffenbacher plant. It is a clean air plant, which we like. I got this from Lowe's. Um, I've had one before, and honestly, I want to give you guys a status update. I'll probably do it next week on that one because remember I told you guys that it did look like this one, and it did well until the weather got cold, and it was sitting by the window. So I think just the temperatures kind of fluctuated, so it got like really cold, like snow cold, and then it got warm for a couple days, and then would go back to snow cold, and I think it just kind of messed with the plant, and so it didn't do too well for a little while. But then I moved it into my kitchen, and that way, it's not by a drafty window or anything because those windows are drafty. And it seemed to be doing better. And I do see leaves growing. because the stems were still very green. So the plant itself wasn't dead. It just was losing all its leaves. And hey, maybe that was just a seasonal thing. I'm not as familiar with this plant, but it does seem to be growing back. So what I want to do is keep watching it. I need to prune it, get all the dead leaves off and all of that, and then it'll give room for the new things that are coming in. So like I said, it is still alive, and it seems to be healthy enough to produce some new plants. So we'll keep you updated on that. As a matter of fact, let's just take a trip in there and look at it. It's dark because it's late, as you probably saw on the Aerogarden, but also I don't think I really feature these plants that often because they're in the kitchen and I don't come in here that often. But that's the brown that you see. That is the other, also called Camille plant, but it's a different baka plant. Camille is just a variant of the different baka plant. That's a neon next to it. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is actually a neon, not a regular pothos. Um, and then we have, of course, that nice little cactus here, Christmas cactus. But yeah, so this one, as you can see, I don't know if you can see at the very top, that leaf up there, that's new growth. There's a couple more um, that are sprouting. Whoops, right there. So like I said, I just need to clean this one up, and I think it will have a chance of success at rejuvenating itself, because like you can see, the stems are still very nice and green and strong. So I think they're okay. But at least you get to see the other plants because you don't get to see them that often. But there they are, the neon and my Christmas cactus. I've had both of those for about a year or so now. So let's go back into the other room. I only have one other thing to talk about. All right, so I'm just going to give you guys a little view of my plant wall, as I call it. And let me get a different angle so you can see the top. But as you can see, this is my pothos that I propagated and then repotted once it was ready. So it's doing really well here. It's a golden pothos. And then we have the Chinese evergreen. This is the red variant, the aglonema, I believe is how you pronounce that. But that is it. And it's starting to give a little new growth. As you can see, a new leaf up there, kind of shiny. That represents the newness. And this is also a Chinese evergreen variant here. These are slower growing plants, so you may not see as much life. And to be honest, when I bought this one, it was in worse shape. So this is actually good, healthy growth. And then we have like the ZZ collection happening up here. And they're living their best lives. And for those who are wondering, the one that's like kind of purpley black, that's a Raven ZZ, and that's what's unique about it. And as you can see here, there is some new growth, and you see that kind of bright green. That is how they come in. So there's a new stem coming in with some new leaves that are rolled up. So you can see. So we're going to have some new ZZ plants. So everything is starting to grow now that the weather's starting to, get itself back together. Happy about that. And let me walk you over. There's our Aerogarden again. My other propagated pothos hanging out here. Another golden and the Manjula. And then we have here, that's the other, this is the Manjula that I propagated. So it's still new. And like I said, it's a slower growing variant anyway. And I think last time I showed you guys this white wizard plant, and it had a new leaf coming in. And now that leaf has completely unfolded. It's back. It's to us. So that's what we're seeing. But um, this leaf right here is a new growth leaf. It is a new leaf. You can kind of tell it's a little bit lighter, a little shiny, but it just unfolded throughout this week. So it is a new growth leaf. So we love to see it, love to see the new growth, love to see the plants doing their thing. And like I said, I think the weather and the sunshine will help it quite a bit. So there's aloe down there. Everything else living its best life. And I don't think I feature my little Brazil philandrian that often because it's just kind of chilling as well. But as you can see, it has grown. If you've been watching it, when I first moved here, it was kind of hovering. It was close to the floor. I'd say it was probably sitting on top of the caulking there. It was like right about maybe here, somewhere in there. And now it's actually on the floor. So I love it. As soon as I can find a good spot to clip to get a cutting, I'm going to try to propagate this particular Brazil philandrian as well. But that's everything that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and check in next Sunday for more plant updates. And oh, before I go, yes, the other plant that I have that's in the propagation station is still there. I'm going to check out the roots, and maybe by next week it'll be ready to move along into its own new home, but I'm not sure. I need to check in on what their roots look like. I know what the pothos roots look like, so it's easy for me to know when they're ready to go, but I just need to check into what I should be expecting for that particular plant, which came from here, from the peperonia plant, and we'll see. And it looks like there's a little newbie coming in on that one too. I didn't see that until just now, so there it is. Right there, we got a new piece. So yeah, with the warm weather coming in, it's almost springtime and the plants are starting to show up and show out. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully by about mid-March, I'll actually have more balcony garden content too, because it looks like as the weather is starting to stabilize, then I can start planning some things out there and revamping my balcony garden. But until then, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.